Hello, everyone. Welcome back to DSP versus the Internet, episode 49. Let's jump right into part 2, more Ultra Member submission. Another
last
Cowboy
week I played
Bebop
this gig with the J Music
song?
Ensemble, which is this band that plays anime and J-pop and video game music at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden.
Huh. It's another group
Playing
playing
here
the
as
Cowboy
part of
Bebop
Sakura
theme.
Matsuri, which is the annual Cherry Blossom Festival here in Brooklyn.
Now, the band is fronted by fellow Manhattan School of Music alumni Patrick Bartley, who is a pretty amazing jazz saxophone player. He plays with Wynton Marsalis, he's played with the Chainsmokers, he's played on Colbert.
Somebody new joining the band. Say hi to Patrick, everybody.
But Japanese pop music is a really big passion for him.
I mean, I guess like most of us in America, I came to Japanese music through video games. I would play Sonic the Hedgehog, I would play Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, all those kind of games. So I would go to the library.
It's great.
Find the
That
music.
sounded great.
And then I
That was
realized,
Sonic-
it's
a
composed
Sonic
by this
song.
person who's Japanese. Oh, this music comes from Japan. How far does this go?
So for me personally, playing this music, which I don't know a whole lot about, filtered through the lens of American jazz improvisation, has been really...
Why is he filming in front of a bunch of Home Depot boxes? You couldn't find a better... I guess he's moving. It looks like he's moving. You couldn't find just like a blank wall. He filmed in front of the boxes. It's funny.
interesting because it feels somehow both very different and very familiar.
He's playing with them. He's playing with the band.
If you take a look at the background, if you can find any bios on these musicians and composers that made music for these games and anime and J-pop, they are all influenced by American jazz musicians. I mean, you have people like Yuji Ono, right, who's a composer for the music of Lupin III. And that was in the 70s. So that's very clear inspiration
Yeah, it is.
from things like either James Brown's band or Herbie Hancock's band, or even older, like you got Count Basie, you got Thad Jones. You can hear all that sort of stuff.
You're absolutely right. When I heard the Lupin the Third soundtrack, I was like, that sounds like, you know, American Western music, but it was made uniquely Japanese in that anime. Lupin the Third.
I mean, even going on to like more contemporary people like Yasutaka Nakata, who did the music, who's doing the music for Perfume and Kari Pamyu Pamyu, Utada Hikaru, Ringo Shina. All those J-pop artists are vastly influenced by jazz and funk and R&B music.
And yet, as familiar as it is, from my perspective as a performer, there's something very, very different about it that's kind of hard to put my finger on.
Should probably start with the rhythm first, because the rhythm is one of those things that makes the backbone of this music sound so much different than American music. I think in the Scott Snaps video, you talked about how language influences like the music that comes out of that culture, and it's 100% true. So if you want to study other types of music, I think the same way. You should at least peek at what the language is. And the thing about Japanese is that it's a monophthong language, right? Every vowel is made up of one like small part of what our diphthong vowels are. So if you got A, it's E, right? You also have consonant, vowel, usually what the language is made of, you know. Takakunakata, it means like it was not expensive. You have shiranai, I don't know. Like it's all like da 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 da.
Now we're learning about Japanese language. I know nothing about Japanese language, so this is my first time I'm hearing anything about it like this.
And the music is a lot built up like that.
Persona 5. Great music, man.
That's kind of different than what we have, because you have a lot of words that slur. You have a lot of words that move this way. You know, when I talk like this, it kind of swings a little bit. So it's easy to make lyrics, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you're speaking Japanese, it's a little different. But to speak it correctly, you can't, there's no accents. There's pitch accents sometimes in order to make the, you know, just like in English,
I get what he's
where to ask
saying.
a question, you want to do upper inflection, of course, but that has no bearing on how the language actually sounds.
Yeah.
You would actually sound a little weird if you started speaking Japanese like English.
So what he's saying is, Japanese is very fast-moving, small syllable, monotone language. English is all over the place because we can have multiple vowels next to each other, tons of inflection, longer words, and things like that. And that's why Japanese music has a different tone, a different almost like tempo to it than American music. Although what he's getting at here is that a lot of J-pop and or Japanese music in general has been influenced by jazz music, and that's why you hear those influences in it. Okay. Cool. Let's fast forward just a little bit more. Obviously, I want to see what's like maybe anything interesting near the end.
There's a certain, like, I feel like going down to that 7 and then coming back up to the E is like, all right, things gonna be all right.
Yeah.
You know that feeling?
Yeah, I mean,
there's a whole bunch of ways to interpret that, but I feel that way when it comes to that. It's like, it's a sadness, but it's like, you know, we're gonna be all right. This is my world that I live in. And I think a lot of people identify with J-pop because it makes them feel like they're going into a world that understands them. And they feel like they're going into a world where people are like, oh, this is a song that is talking about my life and my struggle, because the music and the melody is about that struggle, but it's also about the optimism.
That's interesting too. Simple and clean. That's cool. What a crazy jazzy version of Simple and Clean.
The fact that major can sound sad, there's not, I don't know.
See,
I
was hearing it almost as minor sounding happy. Like I was hearing most of the stuff exactly the opposite from what you were thinking. Which is like, okay, all right.
I think of both of those things though.
Okay, yeah.
Because I mean, all of my Jewish friends, they said, wow, this sounds like I'm at temple. It sounds like I'm at services.
Oh, yeah.
When they hear minor songs. For example, when we, at our sessions, we play Kirby Dream Land from the arrangement from Smash 64, Smash Melee. And they're like, man, why does it sound like a horror?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
like,
really?
yeah,
and
it
all
does.
that to it, and like it's because of the minor sound.
That is true. It does sound like a Jewish song. Now I'm listening to it. He's absolutely right. It does. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They're also very, very influenced by Eastern European music.
Yeah, okay, I can hear that.
There's
for
a
sure.
popular.
All right. Good video. Interesting variety. Let's move on though. We don't want to do this forever. We got to get to this video.
Almighty thunderstorm, come forth to me. Almighty thunder, pounding outside, come forth. Got the King Cobra playing with thunder and lightning, because I can. I love conjuring thunderstorms.
Oh, hey, it's homeboy Scotty. What up, man? What it do? Friendship is about sharing what you got, dude. You know, like, it's not really about that. It's about, like, sharing what you got, dude. It's a circle, dude. You share with me, I share with you.
Let's see how it do.
This is a trick, man.
Okay. You people are weird, man. Like, I get it. I get that this guy is, you know, a weird guy on the internet. And people like to watch him for fascinating reasons or whatever. Why would someone make an animation of him? Like, don't you have something better to do than make an animation of this guy? Seriously. It is short. I guess we'll finish it. Oh my god. Look at this.
This soap works. It does.
Tactical
Every
soap.
woman I walk by, she's like, that goth dude smells good. Wow. Cobra's got a drink.
What the
combo.
fuck is Mr. Peanut?
Oh, hey, Sean, what's up?
Better not keep drinking, boy.
Fuck you, Sean. I don't need alcohol to have a good time. You know what? You can get blocked from my channel, dude. Overall, not bad.
Anyway, I don't know if we're going to be able to watch this. It's only 9 days old. It's an official Apple video, and it's supposed to be Apple Vision Pro, so I guess it's supposed to explain like a new VR, AR thing that Apple is coming out with or has come out with. Now, I'm not into this stuff. I don't pay attention to the technology when it comes to, as you know, I had PSVR. I didn't really like it after a few months. I thought that it was a complete waste of time, and I never really got back into it. So I haven't been up on the technology of any of this stuff. I think the reason that someone submitted this for me to watch is because we had talked about it recently, and I said, oh, I don't know about the changes to the technology and what's happened in like the last 7 years that this has been out. So, I guess we'll see. Let's skip the intro, and let's just go right into it. I think I've seen enough. So, Apple Vision Pro, by the way, I don't know if this is true or not. Someone in chat said this device, listen to this. This device costs 3,500 United States dollars. Wow. And so people are like, yeah, and you can basically get like a non-Apple version of this. There's a million companies that make it, and you could get it for as low as $200. You know, you can get more expensive ones that are better, but Apple is essentially the most expensive one. You know. That's pretty insane. All right, let's continue. Let's do one more video before we split the part here.
The videos captivated America. Students leaping for joy after learning they've been accepted to some of the nation's top colleges. This video from last year has been viewed more than 8 million times, showing a young man being accepted into Harvard. They all attended a small prep school in Louisiana, TM Landry, which was praised for sending an astonishing 100% of its graduating students to college.
And you got into Harvard, and you got into Stanford.
Now the New York Times, in an explosive front-page story, says the school isn't what it's been made out to be. According to the Times, the school falsified transcripts, made up student accomplishments, and fostered a culture of fear as students were choked, yelled at, and berated. LaTarsha Lewis's 2 children attended the school.
What do you want to say to the owners of the school?
Shame on you. Shame on you for lying, for deceit. A lot of us believed in you. A lot of us trusted you. I trusted you with my children.
The school is owned by Michael and Tracy Landry. The Times quoted Landry as admitting he has hit students and could be rough. He told the Times, "I don't do that anymore." The couple also deny they falsified school transcripts and college applications. A Cinderella story that might seem too good to be true.
I am not going to comment whatsoever, because I have made comments about this in the past, about the American school system and how broken it is. There's actually a lot of things going on right now legally in the American school system, if you guys are not aware. When it comes to these top-end Ivy League schools, they're basically all being exposed now for being scams for a very long time, that the system was always broken. And, you know, I mean, look what just happened. Was it Harvard? Who the person had to step down who was in charge of Harvard because they found out the person's a rampant plagiarist, and essentially, you know, a lot of their accomplishments were fake. It's like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, anyway, you know, I don't really want to get into it. You know, we could if we had more data, right? But the whole thing, the whole system of American education is a scam. It's set up to create a system where, number one, these colleges make insane amounts of money on the education system that they don't deserve. They're not doing that amount of work to earn what they're charging you for tuition. It's insane the amount that they charge. Number two, the entire system is a class-based system where, through nepotism or legacies or things like that, the same class of people always gets to go to these schools and then immediately get hired for high-end jobs and immediately get into positions of power at said companies, or even become politicians later. It's an actual system based on essentially keeping down everyone else. It's fucked up. And now that they're investigating, they're finding out these colleges never had fair ways to get in. A normal person had zero chance to get into an Ivy League school. You either had to know someone, pay a ton of money, or be someone who's like going to be on their sports team to make them a ton of money, and that's it. Like, there's no other way for a normal person to make it and get into an Ivy League school of any fair means, which is really fucked up. It's all now being exposed. Go look right now. You're seeing people are suing these schools and saying, why is it that if you were a certain race or a certain ethnicity, right, you had almost zero chance to get in unless you were rich and already knew people who went to the school or already had family that went there? It doesn't make sense. So, anyway, we could go on endlessly about this. I'm sure there's tons of information about it and tons of stories about it now, because it's just in the last year kind of exploded with lawsuits and things being exposed. When I was growing up, I was told, work your ass off in school and you'll go places. And I did, and I was denied, even though I was valedictorian, had insane amounts of high-end, you know, what do they call it? Advanced credit and stuff like that. Because I took high-end courses that were supposed to be like college-level courses when I was still in high school. I had tons of extracurriculars and everything. Volunteer work, everything you could have. Absolute best of the best, cream of the crop. No high-end schools accepted me. None. But some kids from my school did get into Ivy League school for sports. That was it. And it's like, huh? So how does that work exactly? Right? Anyway, that's what I mean. Like, we could talk about this for a long time, but I feel like I've already talked about it before. So, what was my my GPA? I don't remember. It was close to a full 4.0. I don't think it was 100%. It was probably like right under, because I had straight A's. My entire high school career was straight A, straight A, straight A. I worked my ass off in high school. I missed out in high school of having a lot of time with friends and doing things that I wanted to do, because I was always either working on schoolwork or doing extracurriculars to boost my resume, essentially, to get into a high-end school, right? And it did nothing. It was a joke, you know? It was an absolute joke. So, anyway, let's split the part here, and then we'll come back in part 3 and see more. I think we have a few more Ultra Member videos to get through, but then we're going to get to the standard member submissions, so I'm excited for that. Thank you all. See you in the next part.